going on, people? Welcome back to AFTV. Now listen, last weekend, after that bad decision, there was a lot of moaning, a lot of moaners. You was a moaner, even I was a moaner. But this Wednesday, 8 PM, it's Arsenal and Girona. It's their last game. I'm not talking about Michael Oliver, I wish I was. It's the last game in the Champions League set up until we go into the knockouts. The 8th fixture, Girona versus Arsenal, 8 PM. You like that one? At the Stadi Montalivi. Hey, I know I like
it. I think it's creative.
Smart, man. The sunny here is nice, you know, but England's raining, we're here.
I don't know what's worse, Michael Oliver's refereeing or your intros, right? You know what I mean? Honestly, they get worse every week I hear them, right? I think I prefer Michael Oliver refereeing us for the rest of the season than your intros.
No way.
That's how bad they are.
Mona.
They're shocking.
You know, Girona.
I thought it was very creative.
See, thank you.
Well, he would, yeah.
Thank you, Julian.
Just like the guy who was there questioning the Girona fan, telling the Girona fan what the capacity of the stadium was.
Crazy.
The Girona fan.
Right,
anyway, we're here.
Let's get into this then. Let's just quickly get both your thoughts. Let's start with you, Robbie, just ahead of this game. Where are you at? I mean, is it a game that is a dead rubber, or is it something that you think Arsenal should be taking seriously? Cement, listen, it was likely that we're through, but cement that top 8 spot.
Yeah, I mean, listen, it's not completely a dead rubber because there is still mathematically that we couldn't qualify, but it would take an absolute disaster here. We'd have to get absolutely destroyed there, and other results would still need to go against us for us not to qualify. So I do feel that it is a game in which we could afford to rest players, because it's more a case of not losing rather than we must win, you know what I mean? And even if we lost, we'd have to lose horrendously. But we got a big game coming up at the weekend against Manchester City, you know, and we want to keep the good vibes flowing in this tournament. This is a tournament so far that we've done very, very well in. So, you know, but I do feel that, you know, it's a game that, you know, well done to the team. They've made this game. They've made it so this is not a do or die on the last game like what City have got, like what Aston Villa have got. You know what I mean?
We was in crisis a few weeks ago.
We can kind of relax.
We felt like we was close to crisis.
Well, never in this competition. We've done really well so far. So hopefully we come in tomorrow and get a morale boosting win ahead of that Man City game. I mean, this is almost a Man City team. Right, because remember, this is a team that like is owned by the same owners of Man City. You can see their sponsors, Etihad and stuff like that. It's like a feeder club for Man City. So, you know, I want to come here and win. Yeah, I think it'd be a nice statement to win here ahead of the game against Man City. Beat Man City juniors, right, and play the seniors on Sunday.
Let me just read off the back of what you just said there about, you know, the chances you have to lose horribly to get out of the top 8. And
I've already looked at that.
Okay, so Liverpool and Barcelona have already sealed qualification for the last 16, while Arsenal, although not mathematically assured of the following suit, have done so in 100% of 10,000 simulations.
The Opta supercomputer.
Yes,
see, I don't need my notes.
All right, well, let's get your thoughts then, Mr. Julian, Mr. Supercomputer.
So if you've done that, mathematically, what would it take for us not to qualify then?
There is a 0.2% chance.
No, give us a scenario.
Well, the scenario would be everyone below us win, us to lose.
By how much?
Yeah, everyone can't win.
I'll come on to that.
There's so many
teams. That everyone would have to win, and Villa would have to have a 7-goal swing against Arsenal.
Right.
So we'd have to lose the game, and everyone below us would have to lose, and there'd have to be a 7-goal swing. And the Opta supercomputer predicted 0.2% of a chance, and it ran that simulation as Cecil said, 10,000 times, and in those 10,000 times, every single result went that Arsenal would qualified. However, there's one thing I would disagree with, in that it's still important because of the format of this competition.
Well, I didn't say it wasn't important.
Well, you said it was a dead rubber.
No, I didn't say it was a dead rubber.
Okay, well, the question was, could it be a dead rubber? And in my view, yes and no, but you've really got a guarantee on the winner. The reason being is that if you can cement 3rd or 4th place, it means that you then you can't go up against the 1st and 2nd teams, correct, which are Liverpool and Barcelona, until the semi-finals. So you would avoid both those teams.
And they seem like favourites. And
although the way of this format is, you could still end up getting even in the next stage of Real Madrid or a PSG or somebody like that.
You could do in any group stage before, depending on who not having a good time.
I don't really think that's going to be something that Mikel Arteta worries about as much. I think it's just more like, let's just go and keep winning games, keep winning games in this tournament.
And it's funny, well done for not getting your notes out to read that, but he says about Man City B team or feeder team or smaller team, the Man City version, but they have a lot of ex-Spurs players. I mean, there's 3. I don't know if you saw who they are.
Well, I know that Brian Gill scored in, I think, the 58th minute against Raul Vallecano, which they went on to lose.
So yeah, Brian Gill's one.
That's one. Are you counting the Tottenham goalkeeper?
Yeah, Castanigo was there. Yeah, who actually the fan mentioned he was their top player, which I found very strange. He said the goalkeeper was their top player, but that's 2.
Yeah, and he actually. Yeah, he did. He really bigged him up. What he failed to mention was that he actually got injured and came off injured in the game on Sunday. So he's a very big doubt
for the game on Wednesday.
For the game tomorrow.
There's one more player that was actually ex-Tottenham, and it's Dan Juma as well. It's funny, they're sitting in 31st. They're picking from Tottenham's bunch. I'm not surprised. Like sitting in 31st in the Champions League and sitting 8th in there.
Dan Juma. I mean, like he's been a player that's been a bit tricky in the past.
Yeah, he plays up top for them.
Listen, let's be real. Arsenal have a much better team than what Girona have, although, with the amount of injuries, with the thinness of the squad right now, it's going to be really interesting what team we go with. I know we're going to discuss that when we do the predicted 11, but that is going to be really interesting. What team do Arsenal go with for this game? I think it's going to be a mixture.
But do you know what? You made a really good point that big up the team, because in the last 3 Champions League games, we've scored more than 3 goals, or 3 or more. So I think there was Monaco 3-0, obviously Dynamo Zagreb 3-0, and we beat Sporting, which we went to 5-1. So big them up. I think when I watch back some of the games, I remember being like, I'm quite frustrated. But then you think in the Champions League, that is a good scoreline.
We've been excellent so far in this tournament. You know what I mean? Like you look on it and you look at the struggles of Man City losing to Sporting. We went away and beat Sporting 5-1.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You look at their struggles against PSG. We beat PSG very comfortably. You know what I mean? The only team really that we lost to was the Inter game, and even in that game,
it was a debatable penalty.
Yeah, we didn't deserve to lose that game. I don't think we necessarily deserved to win it. I think a draw would have been a fair result. So we've been very good so far in this tournament. But 2 of the players that have really helped us in this tournament are missing. You know what I mean? In Saka and also Jesus. They're 2 big misses for this, and that's why I know going beyond this, I think we've got to go into a transfer market. And bring someone in, because those are 2 big players in this tournament that are missing. Man, like you said, well done to the team, because what they've done, this could have been a potential big banana skin if you come here and you have to win. You know what I mean? Now we're not really in that position where we have to win. We're in a position where we're quite comfortable with this game. So and I'm fascinated to see what it's going to be like here tomorrow. I mean, I can't remember coming to a ground as small as this in the Champions League. I don't know if you, but I just can't remember coming up. I mean, it's absolutely tiny. He's giving me Bournemouth vibes.
It's tiny, and
it really is.
And it's very similar capacity to Bournemouth.
Yeah, I'm going to come to you because I was going to say, very grateful to be here, because like you said, it's such a small capacity stadium. I mean, I remember we went Bodo Glimt, that was tiny as well.
But it wasn't there wasn't the demand for Bodo Glimt.
Yeah, there wasn't. But this one,
that was Europa League. This is Champions League.
Europa League, but also it's really difficult to get to.
Yeah, very difficult.
You can get direct flights there, whereas this you can go straight to Barcelona.
Do you know? I do want to ask you, because I know you've been doing research since I saw you at the airport in the morning. Just your thoughts, like that we should be looking out for a player, or where you think Girona might be dangerous, because it's the first time Arsenal meeting Girona in a fixture. So is there anyone that stood out for you? Because I think Brian Gill was someone who could be a threat against Arsenal. Even though he's very lightweight, we should be able to manage him, but he seems like, when I watched some of their games or some highlights, I saw that he was the one that was kind of their outlet. But is there anything else you noticed at all?
Yeah, well, if you look at the league positions, I mean, when we spoke to the supporter, the Girona supporter, I asked him exactly that question, and he struggled, and he said he said nobody, and then I said, look, just if there was somebody, who would you name? And he said Sprilla. I think he's played for Aberdeen previously. The research I did was the 38-year-old captain, I think, who's the highest goal scorer and got the highest attendance, but he really struggled to to say that anyone was going to give us threat. But then when you actually look at Girona's results in Champions League, they have been
Well
poor.
said.
They have been very poor. They are in 31st place, but they've also got the biggest. They've got the games are close, and they've actually got the biggest negative XG against goals scored. So they've actually only scored 4 goals, but they've got an XG of 8.9. So you could say they've been unlucky, especially with the fact that they've lost most of their games, apart from the PSV game. They lost 4-0 by just 1 goal.
I'm glad you said that, because that's exactly what I got from it as well. I looked through it and said Liverpool was only 1-0 here.
Well, Liverpool were very fortunate to get that penalty in that game as well. You know what I mean?
Exactly. They played Milan as well. They played AC Milan as well away, and it was only 1-0 in that game as well. So I'm like, what do you gauge from it, Rob? What's your score? I'm going to go to your score prediction after this, but what do you gauge from it? Do you look at their position in the Champions League, say 31st, these are going to be terrible, or do you think, do you know what? They're not getting completely turned over.
Yeah, what I gauge from it is that, you know, they're going to treat this game like a free hit. They're already out. Okay. They can't progress. They obviously get up for the big games. Even that supporter said that you know, you can see they're looking forward to this game. Arsenal are in town. They've had Liverpool in town as well. You know, they're probably never going to play it. Well, not never, but they won't be playing us next season because they're probably not going to be in the Champions League. They're mid-table in La Liga. This is a huge game for them. Even, you know, it's one of them games where they'll be looking and saying, let's gauge ourselves against the big boys. You know what I mean? So they're going to be up for it. Their fans will be up for it. You know what I mean? Their players will be up for it. Players like Brian Gill, like you said, you know, or Hill, as they call him. He'll be up for it. He'll be up for it. You know what I mean? And I remember watching him in the games he's played in Spain. He looks a lot better when he's playing over here than he did in the Premier League. So they got a point to prove. They know they're out, but they got a point to prove. It's a free hit for them. I think the thing that I'll find interesting tomorrow is just how seriously do they, as like with their management and everything, how seriously do they go for it? What sort of team do they put out? You know, because they've still got La Liga games and stuff like that coming up at the weekend as well. So how much do they go for it is going to be interesting to see. But certainly for us, do
you see it as a platform game for the weekend or not?
I do. You know what I mean? As I said, you know what I mean? They're sort of a club owned by Man City. Let's come here and beat this one first, and then go beat Man City at the weekend. You know what I mean? But it's about keeping the winning going.
Okay.
Keeping the winning going, and it's an opportunity for some players. Because I do feel that there's going to be a few players rested. It's a real opportunity for some of those players who come in to really show what they can do.
Just quickly, if we lose tomorrow, is that a disaster from both of you, or it's a short answer, or not?
No, it's not. It's not a disaster if we lose the game. For me,
it's not a disaster, but depending on
just a bit embarrassing
on then who we draw in the next round. Because if we end up drawing a much better team because we took our eye off the ball against a team of Girona's quality, then we'll really be kicking ourselves.
Okay, and then let's that makes sense. Let's end with score prediction. I've got one little quiz for June just right at the end. Not a quiz, but a little question at the end. But let me get your score prediction for this game.
Score prediction, I'm going to go for 2-0.
Okay, that's quite confident. Even with there's going to be a predictive 11 video on the channel, so look out for that. Even with the rotations, I think Arteta will go with it. So that's a confident scoreline. Julian?
Yeah, I actually can't see them scoring when I look at our record in the Champions League. I think we've conceded probably the least amount of goals. I think it's 2. Both have been from non-open play. And the second least amount of shots, which is 16 against Atlanta's 13. So defensively, I think we've been very sound. So I also think it's going to be 2-0.
Okay, I'm going to go over 1-0 score prediction. Like many other teams that have faced Girona, I think it'll still be tight with the changes and whatnot. But 1-0 for me. And to end, what is the Arsenal link here? It's a very unique link, but what is it, Julian? There's a player in the team that has a unique link to Arsenal. Is there anything that comes to mind? It's a difficult question, I'll be honest. I went on a rabbit hole.
Okay, so it's nothing to do with the fact they both play in red and white.
No, I wouldn't make it that easy.
And they all formed in 1930, which again isn't when Arsenal formed, but that's slightly before Arsenal won.
They were 8 and 86.
I think they won their first FA Cup, so they won their first trophy of the year.
You said a player.
Okay, quick. There's a player that has a link to one of
Can you give me any more of a clue?
No, it's a really tough question. I'll be honest.
You've done a lot of research, didn't you?
Okay.
Yeah, exactly. All that research, I thought you might be able to find this
but
link.
Ultimately, you were trying to find something that I wouldn't have researched, and you've done very well. I have no idea if you're not going to give me a clue. So well done, Cecil.
Donny van der Beek plays here.
Yeah, he played for Man United.
Correct.
And Everton.
And he is going out with Dennis Bergkamp's daughter. Ex-Arsenal legend.
And
You know, I thought you'd get that. Anyway, people, let us know your thoughts in the comments below, how you think this game will play out. Give us your score predictions as well. Make sure you check out all the content in build-up to this game. It's Girona versus Arsenal in the Champions League. Remember, we're going to be covering it all over AFTV, watch-alongs, fan cams. We're going to be here at the ground and in the studio. Check it all out. We'll see you soon.